Hello and welcome everybody. This will be my third weekly mailbag, and the first question that I received that I thought was very good is this. What do you think about the current interaction with spells like vacuum, telekinesis, or skewer in cliffs? In Warcraft 3, there was coding within the skills to prevent people getting repositioned on those cliffs, but in Dota 2, this has not been implemented yet. Some personal and biased feelings. People argue that this is easy to prevent via TP, Force Staff, Blink, avoid getting near those places, or that this adds a new level of complexity or strategy. But every time I see a team fight near a Roshan pit being decided by placing their carry in the cliff, or a player being trapped in camp for 3 minutes, and he actually links to the exact replay that I'm watching right now, although it's a VOD, and I'm watching it through the Dota 2 client. In a competitive game, I just doubt that this is a good feature or well-designed mechanic for a game that strives to become the top esport, and I just don't feel this has a place in proper competitive Dota. The fact that this was prevented in Dota by design, but it's not that way in Dota 2, seems really off. I'm sorry if I'm not making my points clear. English is not my native language, and I guess you just want me to talk about it. Thank you for your time. I really love your stream. I hope you can keep doing great stuff for the community. So my first question is regarding like cliffing via whatever method possible, usually like lasso or telekinesis, but I'm gonna go ahead and talk about the most common methods. And Darkseer with vacuum. This one's very easy. Darkseer's vacuum has like pretty redonkulous size, and you can like the radius is 550. So you just like target it right here, and it'll suck everyone in a 550 radius onto the cliff. And unless you break down these trees or have blink or force staff or some method of repositioning yourself, maybe skewer with magnetar, then you can't do anything about it. Bat with lasso and flame break. Flame break's actually very hard to do. Like, I just recently played bat, and although I'm no bat expert, I still think it's very difficult to position because it has like a pretty long travel time, and you have to position it just like exactly right, just so that they can get knocked up here and knocked up here. But you can lasso people too. Lasso is pretty easy to reposition, but it's an ultimate with a fairly long cooldown as opposed to vacuum, which is only 22 seconds cooldown. And then magnetar, if you're a pro magnetar, you can skewer people up here. For example, if magnetar was right here, you can just click right here to skewer, and then since the thing that's right in front of them is this cliff, then they will get trapped up there. And then also Rubik with telekinesis, and Rubik is radius is 325, so if you're anywhere like in this area, you can just get telekinesis right up the hill. And a couple of the like cliffing heroes are in this game, Rubik and Darkseer. There is no magnetar, and there is no bat rider. This replay was taken 1 month ago, like January 29th, I believe, in a raid called DTO game, Fnatic versus No Tidehunter, and I believe that those heroes were most likely banned just because they were so popular. But you can't ban all of the imbalanced heroes. You can't ban Nyx, you can't ban Coddle, and Darkseer, and Rubik. You just can't ban all of them. Rubik's not really banned, but regardless, there's a reason why these heroes are very popular and competitive, and like the skill sets that they have, along with the ability to threaten people along the cliffs, is just ridiculous. Like a level 1 Rubik with boots first, as we've seen Kuroki get many times. If anyone tries to get the rune, he'll just dump on the cliff. And then if you don't have a crow at that point in the game, you're just absolutely screwed. And I'm gonna play this actually. So here he gets clipped, and he tries to TP, but then he gets interrupted by vacuum. Now he's stuck there for a good minute, and like, what are you supposed to do about this? They don't have any way to get him down. They don't have any force Fs right now. It's only 20 minutes into the game, and there's probably a lot of fighting before, and he doesn't have a blink dagger. So like, what is he supposed to do? It's just ridiculous that he can't do anything about it. And like this just goes on for like an absurd amount of time. I'm just gonna free camera right here, and you can see like the amount of stuff that goes on. And I do actually think that this mechanic is a little bit broken, because like a level 1 Rubik can just take somebody out of the lane completely, and somebody has to farm 220 gold, and you have to buy a TP scroll, and even after that you missed like all this experience, all this gold, and your team has to fight 4-on-5 for a while, and it just like sets you back so much if that happens. So you pretty much just can't go up over here. This area is just totally inaccessible if the enemy team has a Rubik at level 1. and I really don't think that's fair. And it was taken out of Dota 1. If you try and vacuum with them up there, I think they just get like shot back down. But you can trap multiple people up there too, and there's like a lot of clips of just ridiculous stuff going on. You just like vacuum 4 people up here and drop a wall, and then what can they do? They just can't do anything. Their illusions are beating on them. If you kill them, they'll just spawn a new one, and it's just absolutely ridiculous. Other than like a couple mechanics of Dota 2, though, I'm pretty pleased with most of the things that's been imported from Dota 1. I think IceRock has done a really good job about importing things and keeping things true to the true Dota feel, but I think that this is one of the areas where he's done wrong. Of course, that's my own personal opinion, but I mean, poor No-Tail, what is he gonna do? He tries to TP again and just gets... They're waiting for it, and they just keep him there. They don't even want to kill him. Like, they have to fight 45. If he dies, he can respawn and actually join the fight. But he just, like, bought a TP scroll, and they just interrupt it with Ice Path, and then what are you gonna do now? Like, they even put another ward up there. Okay. Now they actually want to kill him. But, like, do you see how long they kept him up there? And, like... I don't know. I just don't think that's fair. Another thing that I don't really think is fair in the game is bottle crowing. So cliffing and bottle crowing, those are really like the only 2 mechanics that I have like big issues with. I don't think they're fair and should be allowed. But since they are in the game, people you just can't not use them just because they're imbalanced. It's like in a captain's mode game, are you not gonna pick Nyx assassin just because he's imbalanced? No, you just like ban it, and you have to pick it or ban it just because he's imbalanced, and just like telekinesis, you just have to use it because it's in the game. And in competitive play, you pretty much just have to use whatever means to win, and within reason, obviously, like not exploiting bugs or anything like that. And I don't think this is like technically considered a bug because it's been known for a very long time, and IceFrog just either is not on his like priority of stuff to fix, or he thinks it's fine. But either way, I don't think it's fine, but I'm not the game developer, and IceRogue will do what he wishes. But that's just my personal opinion on it. And bottle crowing is, I don't know, I just think it's dumb too. Like, if you, like, it's pretty much makes a lot of mid heroes obsolete, such as the Laser Rocket Tinker and Lich solo mid. Lich solo mid actually used to be really popular, but what's a like 300 damage nuke gonna do when you can just bottle up and then like 1 minute later you have another bottle? So you pretty much have like 400 free HP times 2, and then if you get a rune, like you can't harass that. It's ridiculous. And Quap usually has a huge lead over most heroes middle, such as Magnus, but with bottle crowing, he can actually stay in the lane. And I just think that it's a little bit imbalanced, and we'd probably see more hero variety. They'd probably ban Quap, but like Magnus, I don't think would be as popular if he couldn't bottle crow in middle. And one other small things like buyback, I'm not like completely satisfied with the buyback system. I do think it's a huge improvement what it was before. There used to be no cooldown on it, and it was just absurd. But it gets more expensive as the game goes on, as well as it depends on what level you are. And I think it's reasonable as is. I'd like to see it like grow, like if it gets like past 40 minutes, grow like not in a linear fashion, maybe like an exponential fashion, so that it costs like way more than 2,000 gold at the end, just to make it prohibitively expensive. But again, that's my personal opinion on it. But cliffing, I hope to see it taken out of the game. But until then, we will probably see shenanigans like this, NA being trapped there for a few lonely minutes in the future. So on to the second question. Second question is, how to best manage a reliable versus unreliable gold. What is it? How to get the most out of it? When to spend it? What gives reliable gold, etc. Pretty much everything about it. Huge fan and been following you since you were in JMC. Keep it up. Okay. So I'm going to create a lobby real fast. And not captain's mode. And I will enable cheats. And while it is loading, I will pull up the Dota 2 wiki on gold. So unreliable gold is pretty much creep kills and neutrals. And everything else is pretty much reliable gold. Reliable gold is like hero kills, assists from hero kills, Roshan, global gold from towers, bounty hunter track gold, Hannah Midas gold. I'm not exactly sure about chicken bounty, but I don't think that's that big of a concern since it doesn't happen very often. But anything most creep kills and neutrals is going to be reliable except Roshan. So what is the difference between the two, and why does it matter, and how should you use this knowledge to better your Dota play? So when you start at the start, you have 603 unreliable gold, and if you kill a tower, you'll get 200 reliable gold if your team kills it, and if you get any hero kills, it'll also be added to reliable gold. And this is important. It's important to know the difference between unreliable and reliable gold. When you die, it only takes away from your unreliable gold. So if for some reason you had 600 gold and it was all reliable and you died, you wouldn't lose any gold at all, which is awesome. And also, buying items uses up your unreliable gold first before using your reliable gold, and buyback uses reliable gold. That's pretty much just it. And the number that is shown right here, the 603 number, that's the sum of your reliable gold and unreliable gold. So how should you use this knowledge? Pretty much if you run around killing people and you don't get any CS, you're only going to have reliable gold past the first 600 gold. So if you're like a bounty hunter and you just run around killing people all game and have like 10 CS, like 20 minutes in, and all you get is track gold and hero kill gold, you don't really need to worry about spending your gold before you die to maximize the gold that you get. But if you are someone else, like an alchemist with Goblin's Greed, and you just like farm the whole entire map with like max Goblin's Greed and Midas, the only reliable gold that you are going to get are from towers and from Midas and creeps. So when you die, you're going to take a huge hit on your gold amount. So how do you know? You pretty much just like if you're like heavy farmer carry role, you're usually just going to have unreliable gold, and if you're in the like ganker and support role, most of your gold is going to be reliable gold. So how should supports use this information? Like if you're a support hero and you only have like 400 gold, 200 reliable, 200 unreliable, and you think you're probably going to die in this next team fight, you should probably spend it, because 400 gold is pretty hard to come by as a support. So just like buy your observer wards and use up all your gold as is. And again, you can, if you ever have a question as to how much of each you have, you just hover over your gold and it'll tell you. And it'll also tell you how much it costs for your buyback, and this number increases as time goes on. And there's also like a few things you should know. You lose, I believe, 30 times your level for death. So if I wanted to save for buyback right now, I would need 1051 reliable gold, or let's see, I'm 25 times 30 is 750, so I would need 750 plus 1053. I would need 1800 unreliable gold if I wanted to buy back. And it's important because sometimes you get in these late game situations where you really need to have a buyback and you don't know how much it costs. So it's important to know this so that you're not 50 gold short and the opponent team just takes your reaction like, well, fuck, I didn't know how much I needed for buyback. But now you know, 30 times your level, and it takes away from your unreliable gold when you die, and buyback uses reliable gold. So if you have 1060 reliable gold, you're good to go. So just keep that in mind. And pretty much, how do I use this information? I use this information like, if I want to buy a sheep stick and I have like 4,000 gold, as soon as I get like 2,100 unreliable, I'll just spend all my unreliable gold. And I just pretty much hoard my reliable gold if I can. Sometimes you need the item. Like if you need a Black King bar and you have like 4,000 gold all reliable, you need the Black King bar in most situations. So you just spend all your reliable gold. But other than that, like if I'm about to die mid lane, I have like 400 gold from getting hero kill and first blood, and then like another 200 gold. Maybe I'll just buy a circlet, maybe I'll just buy a TP scroll to minimize the amount of guild loss. And this is especially important if you don't get that much gold. So if you're a support player or just someone who doesn't get that much gold, or you're bad at farming, you just got to make sure you spend it before you die, because gold's not that easy to come by. And similarly, if you are a carry player, like let's say you have your alchemist with 3,000 gold, 2,000 reliable, 1,000 unreliable, you should just buy your ogre club if you're about to die. And this is also where the quick buy comes in handy. Like you can use shift left click, and then you can just buy according to how much you have, right? If you have 1,000 unreliable, you buy your ogre club. If you have 1,600 unreliable, you buy your mithril hammer. If you have somewhere in between, you can buy your Black King bar to minimize the amount of gold that you lose and to maximize your reliable gold. You don't want to pull away from your reliable gold if you have to, but in certain situations, you should. Again, this is just about like gold management, and even though someone may farm a lot more than the other person, if they die without spending their gold, it's kind of like wasted farm, right? Like you farm the creeps and you got the last hits, but the gold just goes to nowhere because you could have spent it as unreliable gold. So just keep that in mind as you play. And I think that it will conclude my second weekly mailbag episode. It's a little bit shorter, but I think these were two very important concepts, and I think yeah, that's about it. But again, if you have any questions, just mail me at mailbag@merlinidota.com. I wish I had like a video for the second part, but there's not too much besides the Dota 2 wiki article. Just I think it's dota2wiki.com/wiki/gold, or just Google Dota 2 unreliable or reliable gold if you're unsure about it. But if you have any other questions, mail me at mailbag@merlinidota.com. I do this every week, every Tuesday at 7:30 CST. Thanks for joining me.